Welcome to In My Opinion 4, Friday the 13th, the game. There is no plot here, just the usual Jason trying to kill those damn teens. So let's just dive right in. Depending who you are, this multiplayer focused game will play out two different ways. I say who since you either play as one of the teen counselors or the big monster himself, Jason. I know you might be thinking, well, of course I'm always going to pick Jason. Well, I got some news for you. When you join the room, it's random who you will be. And most likely it won't be Jason, even when you put the settings that you prefer him over the teens. So with that being the case, let's check out how it is being a camp counselor. Before you start your game, you can pick what teen you want to be. Each has their own stats, so some might be better at mad dashing for their lives, while being overall weaker. And some might be powerhouses, but slow as a snail. There are other stats like repair and so forth that vary between characters, and it's up to you to pick which one fits your style. Some will be locked, but as you play the game and level up, more will be available. There's also a perk system for our counselors that can help give you a little edge, but at the same time comes with a negative. So you can get a perk that heals you better but lessens your defense, or starting off with a map but having your sprint speed decreased. You can get a perk with no negatives, but since you roll for them randomly, the chances aren't the highest. You heard me right, you roll for your perks by spending 500 customization points, which you get by leveling up, which I find kinda dumb. There is an option to sell the ones you don't want, but depending on their rank, you might get chump change for it, thus wasting those points. Once you're on the field, you have 20 minutes to escape from Jason, and there's a few ways to do this. You can repair a phone and call the cops and wait for them to show up. You can find a battery, gas, and keys to a car, fix it up, and leave. Though be aware, Jason can still stop you while you're in the car. Tommy Jarvis can be called to come out to help you take down Jason, though there are quite a few specific steps that need to be done for that to happen. Also, if you're dead or have already escaped without your fellow teammates, there's a chance you will turn into Tommy when he's called, who is stronger and faster than the usual character. The last step is just to wait it out and run for your life. You can defend yourself a tiny bit from Jason with things like flare guns, a rifle, blunt objects, bear traps, and even firecrackers to stun him. When going through the cabins, there is an option to lock and reinforce the doors, helping you slow down Jason when you're booking it. There's also hiding spots all around the area to hide from him, and Jason lacks the power to know you're there. Now, if you're lucky, you'll get to be Jason, and all the killing fun will be yours. The main goal is to, well, hunt every last living person and end their lives. At first, you have a choice between limited Jasons, but as you level up, more will unlock just like the counselors. Jason will also have the same 4 skills, which is Morph, a teleporting skill that lets you pop up anywhere on the map, Shifting, which lets you zoom around a bit like the Roadrunner, Sense, which gives you red vision when a counselor is nearby or in the building, and finally Stalk, which makes you super sneaky. So much so that it won't give the player audio or video cues when you're close by, getting ready for the kill. Jason, besides his main weapon, has 2 little sub-weapons. He can lay bear traps just like the counselors, and he starts off with some throwing knives, and he can find more lying around. This is helpful against those dang teens who just don't want to stop running. Now all of this sounds like Jason's overpowered, but the only skill you get right off the bat is Morph, and you have to wait for the others to slowly unlock with time, and even after unlocking them they have a cooldown period. However, a rage mode which increases the speed of the cooldowns will kick in when the match is almost over, just to tense up things a bit. Each Jason does have their pros and cons, with some being able to run and break down doors faster, but will have a weaker grip strength, or just can't sense as well. I personally just picked my favorite Jasons, which were part 6 and 8 Jason. The CP you earn also comes in handy as it allows you to buy new gory kills for Jason, and while there are some that is shared between all Jasons, each version has 3 of their own special kills. I actually do enjoy the gameplay a lot. Being Jason is of course the highlight, as chasing down the victims and brutally killing them is beyond entertaining. I also like the fact that you can get creative and use your environment for special kills like smashing their face in or tossing them out a window. It's a real power trip. That's not to say being a counselor is all bad. You do feel constantly tense as you're finding anything to help you get out alive, and the music just adds to that. Also, it doesn't feel like the game is being that unfair against you. I mean, yeah, Jason is a monster, but the game lets you know if audio and visual clues he's near, and when you hide in a closet or under a bed, Jason can't sense you. And if he picks the wrong one, it gives you ample time to book it. What sucks about being a counselor has more to do how the system handles experience points. Let's say you start a game and like 2 to 4 minutes later Jason gets you. Now you have the choice of leaving and throwing away any experience you may have gotten through some of your actions, or sit down and stare at the screen for the rest of the time and get the points plus a 500 XP bonus. That's when it becomes boring, since the game punishes you for wanting to leave and find another match to have fun. I get it if you're with a friend or 2 talking, but I'm sure most of the time you'll be finding random matches alone, and this is just a buzzkill. And that's why the counselor is the worst of the 2, since that's what you'll be playing as most of the time, which kind of dampens the multiplayer fun. Now I'm guessing you're wondering if there's any single player to do, and the answer is yes, but it's not much. When the game first released there was nothing, though now you can play on any of the maps offline against bots as Jason. You can also pick how many victims you want on the map and their difficulty. What's also pretty neat is you can level up here if you want to, as I grinded to level 20 to unlock one of the Jasons.
They deserve to die, Jason. Make them suffer.
They also added what I think is the best mode in the game, which is the challenge mode. Here you play as Jason and are tasked to, well, which then in turn awards you with some CP. There's a little intro setting up the scenario and off you go. But wait, it's not that easy. After all, it's called challenge mode. Each challenge has 6 objectives to complete, with one being hidden. They are basically kill X person in X way, use a specific Jason to finish the challenge, or earn all 3 skull points. The challenge is in figuring out when to strike and where the kill is supposed to take place. Also, don't worry, as you don't need to clear all the objectives at once for them to count. You can do some and try for others later. The skull points you get are to make sure no one escapes alive, to not be seen, and to earn enough XP during the challenge. These are important since you need at least 2 skulls to proceed to the next situation, and while it does add a bit of challenge, it never becomes so frustrating that you go fuck it and walk away. The environmental kills specifically made for this mode are just amazing, as these are brand new kills not seen in the other modes, with some that are references from the movies and are pretty damn brutal. They even get their own little cutscene. This is the Jason game I've always wanted. Sadly, there is only 10 of these, and after a certain lawsuit that just ended with the franchise, I feel we won't be getting any more. The only other negatives I can think about besides it just being 10 challenges is there is one challenge that glitches in a way that there is no way to get 3 skulls, and instead you gotta wait for it to work a certain way to achieve it. So that means a lot of restarting. Also, would it have killed them to add a skip cutscene option, since while some are kinda short, others feel really long, especially when you fail and want to just restart. The last thing you can do is check out the virtual cabin. Here you can explore a cabin in first person that's filled with stuff you can interact with, which holds info from the movies and the development process for the game. It's nothing amazing, but it's still a little neat feature. First the good, Jason looks fantastic. Every version of him in this game is brimming with grotesque detail and it's like he jumped right out of the movies. Let's not forget the many kills you've been seeing me pull off. They look and sound absolutely brutal, making it more satisfying. Just seeing the blood flow everywhere, even on the screen, is wonderful, and the sounds of gurgling death are just right. In fact, sometimes you actually feel kind of bad for your victims. The maps themselves don't look too bad either and replicate the movies pretty dang close with every little detail. The music score is excellent and it captures the series perfectly. Everything from the tense score of Jason chasing you to the iconic sets the doomed atmosphere up well. Now they're not so good. The counselor models themselves aren't bad, but man, their facial animations can be downright weird or just as scary as Jason. They're usually at their best when they're getting killed, showing off fear and pain. The game also still has some tech issues. There were moments where I pressed a button prompt, be it to do an interactive kill or just break through a door, and it wouldn't activate. Instead, I have Jason doing the twist trying to make it work. The counselor AI can also glitch out when playing a bot match, such as getting stuck behind doors or even stuck between rocks. Frame rate wise, the game ran just fine, be it offline or on. While I do have a problem with the experience system and multiplayer for the counselors and how the perk system is handled, that doesn't mean I hated my time with it. The game really does a great job at capturing the soul of the franchise with making you feel tense and afraid as the counselors and giving you that power trip as Jason as you weed out your prey. It also helps the game never felt cheap to me no matter what side you were on, and even with its tech issues around, it doesn't kill the overall experience. I do wish there was more single player content since, as I mentioned, challenge mode is awesome, and there just being 10 of them made me sad. It would be nice if more was added, but due to the current legal issues going on, I don't see that happening at all. The only replay value is how much fun you get out of multiplayer, playing against bots, and if you aim to complete all the objectives in the challenge mode. The good thing is online is still rather active, so you can easily find a game. There are also Tommy Jarvis and Pamela Voorhees tapes you can get, but getting them is completely random, so it's kind of a pain. I think if you're a big fan of the Friday the 13th series as I am, you're in for a good time, be it single player or multiplayer. So come down and spend a night at Camp Crystal Lake. You may come to find out you'll want to stick around for a few more days. I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this game, and for gamer's sake, keep gaming.